So, have you ever been the person at work or in your social circle who somehow always ends up planning the holiday party or the fundraiser or the team retreat? Maybe you're good at it and you really like doing it. Maybe people count on you for it, but you've never had any formal training. Like you're just kind of figuring out as you go and, putting stuff together. Or maybe you've thought about doing this as a career. Starting something, hanging out your own shingle, but you want a credential behind you. Something that shouts, "Hey, I know what I'm doing!" Well, either way, today's episode is for you. So welcome back to Study With Me. I'm Loy from Online Learning here at Genesee Community College. Tonight I'm sitting down with Amy Slusser. I'm going to say that correctly this time. Professor of Tourism, Hospitality, and Event Management here at GCC, and she teaches core courses in our Event Planning Micro-Credential program, and that might be some new language for some of you. So we're going to talk about what a micro-credential is and why event planning is a field worth taking seriously, and what this program could do for where you want to go. So, Amy, welcome to Study With Me. I'm really glad you're here today. And before we get into the program properly, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us how you got into event planning and how you ended up teaching it here at GCC.
Great. Thanks for having me, Loy. So my name is Amy Slusser. I've been teaching event planning and other tourism and hospitality courses at GCC for 22 years. And prior to this, I worked in corporate travel where I took hundreds of employees of a large company on trips they would win or to conferences, planned every detail from flights to hotels, what they would eat, gifts in the room, anything you could think of, and absolutely loved it. After doing that, I went to I Love New York, where I used to market the Finger Lakes region of New York State and plan a lot of tourism-related events like the New York State Fair, and was asked to come to GCC and teach, and thought, I'll try it. And I've been here 22 years. I absolutely love it. And I can't see myself anywhere else.
I love having guests on because I find out so many things I didn't know. I did not know you worked at I Love New York or the State Fair.
Yeah.
Those are both amazing. Okay, so awesome. Well, let's start with, because I opened up with this, this is the first episode that we've ever done where we've talked about micro-credentials. And I know that there are even people on campus who don't know what a micro-credential is.
Yeah.
So can you break that down for us?
Yeah. So a micro-credential is a defined set of skills that are in demand in the workforce. And you can, they can be obtained independently from a degree or certificate. They're generally 3 to 5 courses, so 9 to 15 credits, and they're in some sort of skill set that is either going to set you apart in your career, enhance your resume, give you a set of skills to do a job. So there's a whole bunch, and I think we have more than a dozen of them active right now at the college.
I think you're right, and most of them are available almost fully online or
Absolutely.
fully online, like this one is fully online. So something more focused than a traditional degree program, something you can kind of get through a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that aspect. Do you have to set aside your whole life while you're trying to do the thing? What does that look like for time and cost?
Nope. So for the 9 to 15 credit hours, you're looking at 3 to 5 classes for all the micro-credentials, and you can do them very much on a part-time basis, a class here and there. Most of them can be done in 2 semesters. Some can be done in 1. And it's same as regular tuition as far as per credit hour charges at GCC. Mm-hmm. They are, but a lot of them, surprisingly enough, are covered with financial aid. Most part-time tuition is not covered with financial aid, but because some of these are so in demand, SUNY is covering them, state ed is covering them with financial aid.
Oh, wow.
There's also opportunities if you already have a degree from GCC and you want to come back and add some accounting skills or learn about event planning, that you can use Genesee for Life to cover those courses as well. So 1 or 2 semesters part-time. Most of them are 3 courses. However, some do require a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about, maybe you graduated with like a degree in accounting and you go and you work for a small company, especially like the Glow region, a lot of small companies. And in the small company, you end up wearing far more hats than you expected to wear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But now you could get this micro-credential, and when you finish, you have a shiny little badge.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times we get into career paths that we didn't realize. Maybe we moved up in the company, didn't realize how much accounting we needed to know. So we come back and get that micro-credential. Or you'd like to have a side hustle as being a fitness trainer. You can get a certification right through GCC as a micro-credential part-time and do that as your side hustle. So there's a lot of these opportunities through micro-credentials that can enhance your career, enhance your life.
Yeah, personal trainer, we have a personal trainer micro-credential, and we have a coaching micro-credential. And I know I have some guests lined up a little bit later in the semester to talk about some of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are really nice, especially if you're like a high school teacher and you're teaching English and they're like, well, can you coach soccer?
Yeah. We need a soccer coach. And what I find, a lot of people, administrative assistants come, they get their job, and they don't realize how many times like events fall into their hands to organize, and they would like to have some, maybe they're having success at it, but like to have some measure of success, figure out all the details to make them even greater. Nobody wants to do things, halfway. We want to do things really well. So I see people coming back to add that skill set.
All right. So can you talk a little bit, before we leave the micro-credential topic, about our micro-credential credits and what can students do with those credits down the road? I mean, obviously they get the micro-credential, you put it on your resume, you put it on LinkedIn, you hang it out on your sign, I'm certified, and now you have a skill set that is finely tuned and honed that you didn't have before. But are there other things that you can do with those credits later on?
Absolutely. All micro-credentials will ladder into our certificate or degree. So if you got the Event Planning Micro-Credential, those courses would count towards your degree in tourism, hospitality, and event management, or the accounting one. So they all ladder into a degree. If you decided later on that you wanted to come back and learn further or get the entire degree, they're not wasted credits. They go right into a degree.
Oh, that's really nice. And then you break it up too, where you can sort of, it's like how do you eat an elephant, right?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Absolutely.
We start with the micro-credential, so that's really nice. So, all right, we know what a micro-credential is now. Let's talk about why event planning and why somebody would choose event planning specifically. We've kind of brushed up against this a little bit, but who are the kind of people that you see coming into this program?
I see a wide variety of students, traditional students coming right out of high school that say, I want to be a wedding planner, or I want to plan events of some sort for a living. I see people coming back for a change of career path. I see people coming that need those skills to be better at their job or to separate themselves from competition. They're looking for a new job or a shift in careers. So the Event Planning Micro-Credential is full of a wide range of students, from traditional 18-year-olds up to people later in life said, I'd always wanted to learn this and do this.
Yeah, years ago I was an event photographer. I had my own little shingle that I hung out, and I was traveling around. And so if I had this credential on my resume, then maybe that helps me get more work.
Absolutely. And I think even from a photography standpoint, you understand what the goal of the event is, what you should be capturing, what the vibe is supposed to be, what they're going to want people to feel. That's a big part of planning events, is an experiential learning or something that we remember that invokes an emotion. That's why people love events, because you go and do, not just hear and see. And so from a photography standpoint, you know more about budget. We learn about safety risk, all kinds of stuff. So it could really set you apart in that you know what shots to catch. You know what you want to capture and what they're going to want to market for future events.
Right. To help them with their marketing. I can't tell you how many times I was asked, did you get this? Because we want to use that in our social media. Okay.
It would have been good to know that ahead of time, right, Lloyd?
Right. But they always ask for it after. All right. So what other kinds of event planning careers might be out there? Like, I think people might be surprised by a wide range of options.
Yeah, it is a huge industry, from private events like bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, sweet 16 parties, social events for the world's like membership organizations, fundraising events in communities or for specific groups, corporate events. That's where I started and really got to hone my skills. Trade shows, standard meetings. There's meetings that you go to that are better than others, and there's a reason why. Incentive trips, once-in-a-lifetime trips like the Olympics that are going on right now, that's a once-in-a-lifetime event that people plan for 12 years. That one covers anything from not just the actual Olympics, but planning to get the people there, where they stay, building roads, building stadiums. There's so much more to it. So you can go from small, 10 people in a meeting room with a, deli sandwich lunch and an overhead projector to something that you plan for 12 years. And then you start planning again in another city. So it's all, it could be product launches, fashion show. Fashion events are huge right now. Rather than just a designer just saying, oh, here's my new clothes, they put on an actual event. And those events, they require people to organize them. Sometimes we have a team of planners on a larger event. Sometimes it's just one. So understanding all the details that go into an event is crucial.
Yeah, I'm working with the fashion students right now on some of the aspects of their capstone fashion show here at GCC, and there's so much that goes into it. So much. Okay, so I want to ask you, because you're the expert here, and what does the job market look like right now for somebody that wants to go into this field?
The job market is actually really good for event planners, and one of the reasons is that everyone's trying to plan something experiential. We don't sell products with ads on TV anymore. Yes, we do that, but people like to have something to set themselves apart. You do that with emotion. You do that with memories, getting people involved, something hands-on. So events are hot in any industry. You don't go to the marina and buy a boat anymore. You go to the boat show. Somebody planned that event. So there's endless opportunities, whether you want to stay in your community and plan community events, small fundraisers, or you want to move to a big city and plan runway shows and everything in between. I think people are kind of enamored with the idea of planning events. It seems like a really glamorous industry. It can be. There are parts of the industry that I've met people from all over the world. I've experienced things that people would only imagine. However, there's the difficult part of it is making sure all the details are there. The devil is in the details, so we make sure it's all running smooth. It should look absolutely effortless. And it takes a lot of years to get to that point in your career where an event goes off and looks like it just organically happened.
Right. I was thinking there's a word that came into my head while you were talking about the elusive third spaces. It's not work, it's not home, it's something else. And it's that third space where we can go and we can feel a sense of community and a sense of belonging and a sense of excitement.
Yeah, that's where quality of life comes in. When we're out doing these things with our families or with our friend group or with our coworkers, that's where the quality of life piece comes in, and that's where people want to wow. They want exceptional, they want memorable. Walt Disney has a quote, and I'm going to misquote it here, but he said, you want to do something so well that people can't wait to come and do it again and tell their friends to come and do it. And ideally, and it's definitely paraphrasing there, but the idea is you want to have an event that's so good that people can't wait to get the ticket for the next event. The next time they can come and feel that feeling again. So it's ultimately about an emotion, a feeling.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the program. So what are the courses that make up the Event Planning Micro-Credential itself?
Okay, so there are three classes. One is Principles of Event Management, and that's where we look at kind of the 7 steps of planning an event, from budgeting, creating a vibe, a theme, the food and beverage, risk and safety, all those pieces. And that's mainly for social events like weddings, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16 parties, the kind of the fun stuff where we get into decor and theme and that kind of stuff. They also take a course in meeting and convention planning where we look at the other side, the business side of events, ones that might need to make some money, ones where we have thousands of people in an industry that need to attend for a particular training. Those are just as important. I love those because I didn't have to sell anything to anyone. People had to come. I don't like to be a salesperson, but I like them to come and know exactly where they're supposed to be, exactly what time lunch was, it was served on time, learn all the things they need to learn, and go home feeling like they got something out of it. So that's another class. And the other one is customer service management. In my master's degree, I focus completely on customer service, great companies like Wegmans and organizations that really put the customer first. And we spend the whole semester looking at serving the customer, adding value to set yourself apart. Differentiation is huge in business. People say, oh, I'm going to do it by customer service. I'm going to be really nice to the customer. It's not enough. It really needs to be about adding value, providing excellence at every moment. And that course is the kind of like almost like the capstone piece of now we know how to do it, and this is what we're going to do to set ourselves apart. So there's 3 courses in there, all of which can be taken online in the classroom or remote where you can zoom in during class time. They're called high-flex courses, so you can take them from anywhere around the world.
Now, we've talked a little bit about high-flex classes before on the podcast, and I think what's really interesting about the high-flex classes is that you can actually switch those modalities up as you're going along through the class. So, I always make the example of, let's say that you work weekends, and so you work on Fridays, and your work week starts like Friday in the morning because you're getting ready for your weekend. Well, you can come to class Monday and Wednesday, or Zoom in on Monday and Wednesday, and then Friday's lecture you can watch later.
Yeah.
And with high-flex, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yes, we've seen it this winter where the roads have been bad. Just Zoom from home.
Right.
So instead of coming to class, don't risk the roads. You Zoom from home. Or people that have stuff. I mean, things come up in life. All of us have that. I had a day that I had to Zoom from home. It was fine. Everybody just Zoomed that day. So that flexibility that it gives us is, I think, one of the best selling points of HighFlex is that you're not stuck to a classroom, every day at that time.
Right. And of course, the downside being you never get a snow day.
No. We did get one this semester, Loy. It's been a long time since I've seen a snow day, too.
I know. The whole campus closed. That never happens. No. Never happens. All right. So I was reading about the micro-credentials, and I read something about students working on real challenges for real employers as part of micro-credentials. Can you tell us, what does that mean? What does that involve?
All of the tourism and hospitality courses and event planning courses, we pick up projects from local tourism marketing agencies, on-campus events, community events. We look at those events, we practice using those events, help them go through those steps. What are best options for ticketing? What are best options for food and beverage? All those things. We're doing a marketing piece for Wyoming County right now, figuring out what are the events in the county that would attract young people. And he said, well, the college is full of young people, so we're using my people in my major to figure out what are the events they should create, or how could they enhance the events that they have to bring in that younger demographic. Right. So we do a lot of hands-on projects. We work with people in the industry, lots of guest speakers, people that are doing it really successfully come into the class. They'll take students on internship. So I try to make it as hands-on as in real life as possible.
Yeah. That's got to look spectacular on a resume.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just a classroom exercise. I mean, it was an assignment, but it's also something that you can point to that's out on the web and put in your portfolio.
And students network with these people. They have familiar faces in the industry. They have people to call when they're out doing it, saying, I'm not sure how to do this. Well, or who should I connect with? So they're building a network of people. The hospitality industry is full of networks of people that we rely on to make things happen.
Right. Connections.
Absolutely.
It's all about connections. All right. So we're making those connections for our students, and that's awesome. So let's talk about a student who's maybe working on a related degree program, like maybe they're working on a business degree, or, maybe they need to take their degree program to the next step. So how can a micro-credential fit into a bigger degree program or a bigger set of career goals?
Yeah, so like I said, they all ladder into a degree, but if you're in a business major and you think, I want to have my own event planning business, so I need to learn about both, you can take the business degree and use your electives to pick up the micro-credentials. So you use the open electives, so you're still getting your associate's degree, but then you have that micro-credential badge that is on that digital badge that's on your transcript that sets you apart from someone else or gives you those extra skills. And most of the degrees, if they're not transfer degrees, have some electives in there. So it's a great way to add another skill. Or you want to be an event planner. But if you're running your own business, I've got to be able to account for those things, or I have to manage people. Picking up a management class, picking up an accounting class. There's so many ways you can thread them together and almost customize what you want your resume to look like.
I was just thinking mix and match.
Absolutely. Customize it. Make yourself stand out.
Yeah, mix and match your degree program and fine-tune your resume for what it is that you actually want to do.
Yeah, one of the things I'm seeing a lot of my tourism students or the business students really be interested in is social media. We have a concentration in social media, which is amazing. That digital marketing piece, everyone is asked to do it, or you do it for your business. A lot of people don't know really the right way to do it and what all the cool things you can do with it, from the data you can gather and stuff. So we see a lot of students dabbling in that too. And the micro-credentials they let you dabble, but with an end result, that digital badge that sets you apart from somebody else.
Yeah, I know you have a social media program over there because we actually have one of your social media interns works out of our office every semester, so spends 4 months making real live campaigns that run on social media to attract potential students and to support our current students. And as a matter of fact, the reminder for this podcast that goes out is one that's written by the social media intern, and then they get to put that on their resume, which is, I think, is phenomenal.
Yes, and they enjoy their time here. They all say how much they learn. And that's good. That's the point of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not just about us getting stuff done. It's about them learning something new.
Absolutely, stacking that resume.
Stacking the resume, yes. So, let's say somebody wants to get started in one of these micro-credentials. So the tourism, the event planning micro-credential. What's the first step to getting into that micro-credential, and how quickly can they get going?
It's very quick. Application to the college, you can go right from the GCC's website under academics, click on micro-credentials, get a little more information. There's a link right in there to apply. It's really just filling out the information, but some of them do have obviously financial aid tied to them that I mentioned, so that piece can be done rather quickly as well. If you have more questions, you can certainly reach out to any of the student success coaches or directly to me at alslusher@genesee.edu, or you can call the school. They'll get you to my office, and we can talk about the details. What do you want to get from it? When you want to start? So there's so many ways to start. You can do it online if you'd like. You can work with a coach. You can work with me.
Yeah, I think, isn't Patricia?
Yes, Patricia Rowland is specifically the coach, but they all can help you. So get you started and get your application in.
But we've had Patricia on the podcast before. She did a wonderful episode with us. And she and I were both laughing about our own missteps in education.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop, start. It's okay as long as you finish.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Eventually you get there. All right. So, wow. Micro-credentials. I wish they had been around when I was in school.
Me as well.
It's a new thing. It's a very flexible thing. And this has been a great conversation. So, I mean, thank you for being here, and thank you for making this so friendly and so accessible for our students.
Appreciate you having me.
So, If you're out there, you want to learn more about the Event Planning Micro-Credential or any of GCC's Micro-Credential program, you can head to our website, www.genesee.edu. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Amy, you can reach out to Patricia, you can reach out to us at Online Learning, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. So now we get to close our program, and I get to share with you our mantra. Our podcast has a mantra, and our mantra is progress, not perfection.
Yep.
So we always like to say, I don't want perfection to prevent you from moving forward.
Absolutely.
Right. The micro-credentials can be one step in your progress. And so I hope that this has been something that has been interesting. It's certainly been fascinating for me, and what a change from when I was in college. So we'll see you all next week.